You are listening to the Savage FINcast, episode 34, Doubling Down with Frank Fosco.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the Dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the show that puts the spicy in the buffalo. I am Jim Purcell.
I'm Craig Olson.
And
I'm Raven Perez.
That was the most amazing Raven impression I've ever heard. It's like he's standing here in this room alive today.
Sorry, Raven. Just had to get you back for last time. Raven is not with us.
He is not.
This episode, unfortunately. He always makes every episode pretty awesome, I think. So we're going to miss him, but the show must go on. So we got a big episode.
Yes, we have a very exciting episode. We have another interview lined up for you, the listeners. The one, the only, Frank Fosco.
Fan favorite Frank Fosco.
Indeed. Anyone who's a longtime Savage Dragon fan knows Frank Fosco's influence or presence in Dragon has been one of the greats, one of the best backups.
I think he's probably done at least 6 or 7 different backups in Savage Dragon, if not more.
6 or 7 individually. Titles, you mean?
Yeah. All right. Well,
he's probably done at least 50 issues at this point.
Yeah. Definitely. So
prolific, that man.
Why don't we just cut to the chase and get through the news and trivia so we can talk to the gentleman
quickly as possible.
All right. Well, we'll start with some Erik Larsen news for this episode. First bit of news is Erik Larsen's channeling Fletcher Hanks. Erik Larsen will be providing the packaging artwork for a Stardust action figure as part of the Amazing Heroes retro-style superhero action figures Kickstarter campaign. It's like a tongue twister.
It is.
But,
it's a lot of words.
Yeah. On his Facebook page, Erik stated, "I was trying to do a kind of Fletcher Hanks homage without outright copying Fletcher Hanks. The point wasn't to become Hanks, but rather to keep the character roughly on model in my style. An image of the packaging art is up at dragonfan.net if you want to check it out.
Now, Stardust is one of the more crazy Golden Age public domain characters. People like getting into him because he's just so freaking out there.
Yeah, Fletcher Hanks. There's a couple of collections of the Stardust or Fletcher Hanks works.
He's a super wizard.
Puts it out. Yeah, and it's just so off the wall and weird. It's a Golden Age comic, but it's just like so off the wall and strange, and even the artwork
way ahead of its time.
Yeah. And so I guess this Kickstarter had, they did like a bunch of Golden Age characters, kind of in those, what do you call them, Miko style.
Are they Miko? Because the photo I saw, they look like they were all plastic and not.
Oh, maybe you're right.
I saw Miko action figures
right.
in like the promo images, so I'm not sure what they were trying to.
No, I don't know. I'm not a big action figure guy.
Yeah, me neither.
But it was pretty neat. I know.
Now I recall Stardust, I believe, had a feature in one of the
Next issue project
issues.
Yeah, so, Joe Keating drew it, and Mike Allred, I think, penciled that. Which is funny because on this Kickstarter, Mike Allred's penciling the Daredevil packaging.
Huh. Is a Black Terror in there?
I think he might be, but I'm not absolutely sure. It is a lot of those kind
Black Terror.
So yeah, there's that. If you go to dragonfan.net, you can see the image. It's pretty neat.
Oh, they made their funding goal. They're funded. That's good.
Yeah.
This is tangentially, but this is Erik Larsen's first Kickstarter, and it's successful.
Well, I mean, he's just
drawing. I know.
So
But yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, it's kind of just kind of cool that he would do something like this. It just seems kind of I don't know. It's not so much outside his wheelhouse, but it's just kind of a kind of interesting thing that just kind of cropped up.
Yeah.
That you wouldn't really expect to happen.
Right.
So that's cool. And Stardust is visually a very weirdly shaped character that the Larsen style really kind of captures. So
yeah.
He's got the big upper body, small lower body thing going on.
He's got that weird kind of like not super side, but his head is just a little bigger.
Yeah.
It should.
Well, he has weird proportions in his original comics just because it's just got such a surreal look to it already.
Yeah.
And that's actually probably a lot of why artists and creators are attracted to the character, just because of how different he is.
Yep.
But so yeah, that's interesting. Other bit of news, exciting for me personally. Neutron Bob is returning in Savage Dragon 203. Larsen recently posted the cover to Savage Dragon 203 on his Facebook. Solicitation description has not been released, but the cover shows fan favorites Neutron Bob battling Malcolm with a deadly duo in the background, which tells you that we're going to be in Detroit, I assume. That's usually the indicator.
Yeah. That was almost like a similar type cover. Wasn't that like around like 80 something or something?
I went back and checked all the covers from Bob's major appearances, but yeah, basically his first appearance issue, Kid Avenger's in the background, and Killcat is like trying to strangle him, failing at it.
Yeah.
The Dragon and Bob are like going at it. So that's a great cover. I thought maybe there was another similar cover when Bob fought Kerr, but he isn't on the cover. But I believe the Deadly Duo might be. Yeah, the Deadly Duo are on that cover. So this one you get Malcolm, Bob, and the Deadly Duo. So.
And we haven't seen Bob in the main feature in a while. There was just that last backup, but it's cool to see him back.
It is cool. He is great design. Of course, whenever a character comes back, you gotta worry about it being his last.
Yeah.
Especially since last time. Did I ever tell you how that almost made me drop Savage Dragon? When Bob got the stomach cut open? I
forgot about that.
Fucking pissed.
That was with the God Sword, right?
Yeah, but Dragon was Kerr at the time, and Killcat and Kid Avenger, being the dopes that they are, decided to help Dragon this time, because previously they had fought against Dragon because they were working for Cyberface. So they decided, hey, we're going to get it right this time. We're going to fight with Dragon against Bob, who Bob at the time was, being a quote-unquote hero because he was on probation. And So they backed the wrong pony, and so Kerr had them pick Bob up and say, hold him there, and just slit his stomach open. And the most depressing thing I've ever seen. But he lived.
Yeah, it must be something. Eric probably just wasn't ready to give up on that character yet, because as we know, it seems like it's so easy for Eric to just kill characters off. So yeah, that's cool.
So anyway, it's cool he's coming back. It's cool he's making the cover again. He's always fun to see on the cover.
Yeah, Ben? And again, you can go on dragonfan.net to see that cover.
So yeah, we got a couple answers for the trivia last episode.
Yeah, so let's jump into it. Our trivia question. So last episode, we said our question was, in Savage Dragon 198, a troll discusses all of the different beings that existed under the ground. Two of the groups that were mentioned were the warring Lava Lords and the Magma Knights. In what title did the Magma Knights first appear? I can't say that word. And so we got a couple of responses. Ben Underwood wrote us, and he said, I wrote in a while back with an incorrect trivia answer, but I think I've got this one. Those underground races you asked about in episode 33 first appeared in Invincible. Am I right? Yes, you are. And he also went on to say, either way, thanks for the podcast. I really appreciate the chance to hear other folks who love the Savage Dragon as much as I do dive deep into each issue. I know that it's work to put together a podcast, and I appreciate what you're doing for the Dragon fan community. If we as fans don't share the word about this series, who will? Thanks. Please keep it up.
Thanks for the kind words there, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. That it means a lot to get a letter like that. We really appreciate hearing back from people, and I'm touched. Thank you. And you are correct on your trivia question. We got another.
Now the Magnetites didn't actually appear in these last couple of issues, right? They're just referenced because the Lava Lords are the ones that look like walking lumps.
Yeah. They don't appear, but I don't think they appear, but they're just referenced by the troll or something.
Because I can't remember what they look like. I know there was an issue with them fighting.
They look more like melty, with their eyes are almost like connected. I don't know.
Oh, do they look more like the mindless ones from like Doctor Strange or something?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think so. John Panozzi also wrote in and said the Magmanites are from Robert Kirkman's Invincible, and you're also correct. I took a coin and flipped it, and the trivia winner is Ben Underwood, who wins either a digest-sized version of Savage Dragon 190, the Larsen variant cover to Jersey Gods #5, or the Highbrow Universe Ashcan comic. So
yeah,
Ben, if you want to reach out to us,
email us back with your contact info.
Yep. What's the email again? I don't have it in front of me.
It's savagefincast@gmail.com.
Yeah, so email us back, and for anyone else, if you want to just chime in, and you don't have to answer a trivia question, just if you have a question about the podcast or want to discuss something or want us to talk about
throw
something,
trivia at us. We'll do our best Gavin impressions.
Right. So to move on to this episode's question, our question is: name the deceased Vicious Circle member who briefly starred in a TV show based on Dragon's exploits as a cop. So who's the Vicious Circle member who starred in a TV show based on Dragon's exploits as a cop? He's no longer with us, but that's your clue there. Probably could, a better clue is he probably could, he might have been one of those demonoids. You never know when you think about the character. Maybe that's too big of a clue, but he almost looks like one of them. Anyway, send your responses to savagefincast@gmail.com. We'll sing your praises on the next episode, and one winner will be chosen of all the correct entries to win a G-Man Learning to Fly trade paperback, which includes a Savage Dragon G-Man crossover, partly drawn by Larsen. I had Chris Giarrusso personally sign and sketch a G-Man on the inside cover of this trade, so
wow,
it's a pretty cool prize. Yeah. He was at my local comic shop a couple of weeks ago, and so I got him to do that. So yeah, it's a cool prize.
Did you invite him to the podcast?
I did not, but at some point we should have him on. I did talk to him about the FINcast, and actually what's the guy with Greg Schiegel from Stuff Said?
Yeah.
You ever listen to that podcast? No. He was there too, and he actually said he had Larsen on one of his a couple of his episodes, and he said he listened to the FINcast to help him prep for his episode, just to see what kind of questions Larsen fans ask.
Wow.
So, yeah, I thought that was cool.
Resource.
But it was nice talking to him. Yeah, and I talked to Chris G, and he was like, "Oh, you're one of those guys from the FINcast." So, they're aware of us. I don't know if they listen. I know Greg Schiegel does, but
it's almost like we're somebody.
Yeah. Well, it's just nice to be able to talk to other Dragon fans. I got myself a nice little Savage Dragon sketch from Chris G as well.
Nice.
So yeah. Well, there you go. If you know the trivia, please write in and give us the answer, and you can win that pretty cool prize. So, should we get to the reason why we're all here?
Oh yeah, let's just jump right to it. Take it away, Craig.
All right. Well, we're excited to welcome Frank Fosco back to the show. Frank's portfolio encompasses 3 decades of work illustrating comic books from Marvel, DC, Image, and Dark Horse. He's probably best known as the artist of the 23-issue run of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic from Image Comics. His additional career highlights include work on Marvel's World's Greatest Comic magazine, DC's Robin and Steel comics, and a ton of backup stories in Savage Dragon, starring characters such as the Rockhouse Diner Crew, Powerhouse, and Flash Mercury, Ethrian, a character he created, Zeke, and fan favorite, the Vanguard serials. So welcome, Frank. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
It's good to have you on again.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys having me. Yeah, all that body of work you just explains about ankle deep. So
I was looking through my notes and I found it hard to believe that last time we talked it was episode 3 of the FINcast, which was almost 3 years ago and about 30 episodes for us. So
yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah.
Cool.
So
guys are still strong, right? So that's good.
We're trying. We enjoy talking Savage Dragon. It's not hard to talk about for a few hours a month, and it's really neat to be able to touch base with a lot of the creators involved in making the book, and it's just something fun to do. So
yeah. Appreciate you guys doing this stuff. So see how it goes. All right.
So 199, the newest issue of Savage Dragon was Erik's all double splash page issue. I'm assuming you got your comp copies because you're doing the Vanguard serial in the back. What'd you think of the main story?
That's okay. No, it's a piece of work. Erik just knocked it out of the park with there's a lot going on. And, I'll be able to tell a story in 10 panels.
Right.
That's an achievement in itself. Besides, all the great shots and the details he put into everything, it's just, his Chicago's even gotten better.
I've noticed that with the past few issues too. He's really kind of almost been stepping up his game with Chicago,
right?
In terms of putting some landmarks and stuff like that.
Yeah. It's beautiful stuff. That splash where the 2-page spread, of course. Which one? I guess he numbers them by as a complete thing, like page splash page 1 and 2 would be like number 1.
Yeah.
2 and 3 would be, or 3 and 4 would be number 2. The one where seriously, the one where he's coming out of the ground. And it's got the background with the
with that overpass you're talking about.
Yeah, with the overpass.
That's a real thing.
Oh yeah, man, that's the L train actually. I think. You kind of drew like an overpass, but I think that's supposed to be an L train.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. And Erik's always got those like cool water towers on top of the buildings and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's my favorite. What's your whole book there?
Yeah, I think I agree that with the hand coming out almost.
Oh yeah, the tilt of the camera, the angle of the foreshortening of the hand coming towards you, and the little Malcolm jumping away, and that I love that.
It's like the fourth splash in, I guess.
I guess that would be number 4 according to the.
Yeah. What's your take now, as from an artist's point of view? Erik, all of his issues lately have been that twice up. Is that a lot more difficult because you have a lot more to draw on, or is it easier, or how? What's your take on that?
I've never done twice up. I've done poster size before, and you can your line can be a lot cleaner, a lot more tighter, because the tiny, even like the little tiny panels, like where he's, his previous issues where he's got like
12 panels.
12 panels on the page, and even those little tiny shots are tight now. They're not just almost like a throwaway or just scrapped in there. And
right. There's a lot of detail.
I want to accuse of Erik of scrapping anything, but even those tiny little shots where everything is just so much tighter. And I don't know if to the novice eye or whatever, you would be able to. He's drawing twice up from what you saw before,
right?
Unless you knew he was doing twice up,
right? But you definitely can see the difference if you know.
Yeah, if you know, it's his stuff is tighter, it's cleaner. It's like he's rejuvenated because he's working at this format now, and I'm digging what he's doing. So
yeah, definitely. But I also think it's probably a little bit more work on the art, on his end, because he got more paper to cover, right? More inks, more.
Yeah, when you work at that size too, and you're on top of it, it's like you probably have to constantly keep stepping back, or closing one eye and squinting at it, looking at it, and it's like making sure everything's just proportionally correct, or
Yeah, it's got to be much harder to like see it as like one piece.
Right. Because if you work smaller, if you work smaller, it's all right there, and you can see it as a whole, as opposed to your panels are that much bigger, and so I got to step back and look at this, and I know he even told me he had to rework stuff because of the size he's working at now. So
right,
but he's getting more of a feel for it, so it's probably
you get used to it after a while.
Yeah.
Well, he's been doing it for a couple of previous issues, so hopefully he's starting to hit his stride on being comfortable with it.
Right.
I would say so,
because it definitely looks like it's paying off this issue.
Oh yeah.
And I think he said this size is something that like Jack Kirby was working off of, right?
All those guys are working
at
this size. Yeah. Back in the before 1968, I think they changed it the size, or maybe 1967.
Do you know why they changed it, or
it's probably cheaper?
Not necessarily. Save on paper. I don't know.
Yeah.
If they were hugging trees back then, worrying about supply of paper, but I don't really know why. Maybe to save space,
storage,
or printer size, copy size.
Well, if Marvel and DC set the trend, it was probably a cost reason.
Yeah.
Right.
And for supplies and boards and stuff like that, the stuff's not cheap. So twice up, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the comparison next to each other, and it's like, wow, man, you're like almost working poster size. And then he's doing 2-page spreads.
Yeah, it's like the size of a car door.
Yeah. Well, he's drawing a lot of detail, so it's like, I would say maybe the hardest picture actually to draw is Malcolm punching out the big middle money shot there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just because you have to
second boom,
because it's a much bigger picture. It's the figure's much bigger instead of all these little tiny figures where you can you kind of zoom with your own eye where everything's at, and you're doing your layout and you're placing things to where you have to be more proportionally correct doing this picture of Malcolm punching out of the guy. Yeah. Plus the panel after that.
Like his fist is probably the size of like a regular sheet of comic paper.
Fist.
Yeah. That thing's huge.
Yeah. It reminds me of. Do you guys remember when he did that newsprint strip for that McSweeney's magazine? That was pretty wild.
Which that might have been even bigger.
Yeah, I think it was because it was a full like newspaper sheet, but
right.
It's still pretty wild. And with the foreshortening, I mean, it's perfect for Eric's style.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, that Malcolm punching out panel, that's the poster. Yeah. You should get that out there in a poster format.
T-shirt.
T-shirts.
There you go.
Punching out your chest. Yeah. Good stuff.
What do you think about? Of course, in this issue, the SOS shows up and it brings along all those Golden Age heroes. What do you think about those characters? Do you have any interest in them? As
not really.
Not really.
Not a Golden Age guy.
No, I mean, it could be fun using that kind of stuff. Eric's like a comic book historian, so he likes all that stuff.
Yeah.
He's got the Tootsie Roll guy.
Yeah, Captain Tootsie.
What,
he was basically
the chest?
The guy with tease. Yeah.
I was kind of wondering about him.
Think he's got something to do with Tootsie Rolls or something?
No, he does. He really does.
He really does?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was Tom Strange from...
No. Captain Tootsie was in Tootsie Roll advertisements, and I think it was C.C. Beck that used to draw him.
So Eric
That's hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah, it is pretty funny. Well, we have, I wrote a quick list of the guys from the Golden Age that we saw in this issue, and it was Black Terror, who I think is a real cool looking character.
Black Terror is like a really one of the most iconic non-Marvel DC Atlas national characters.
Right.
He's like so visually interesting. He gets reused all the time by like indie guys who like need Golden Age characters to fill space.
I think he's like Daredevil. He's got an appealing costume that didn't really, didn't go bad with age,
Who's the guy above him? Are we looking at
The big splash with Angel? Yeah, I think that's the one I'm looking at.
is that
Above
Johnny
who?
Quick or above the Black Terror?
Above Black Terror, that's believe Shock Gibson. Coolest
Shock
name ever.
Never would have known.
Then you got above him Phantom Lady.
Yeah, that's Phantom Lady. It's weird that he gets away with using Phantom Lady.
Why is that?
Because
I don't know anything about it.
Phantom Lady, DC basically, she's one of the Freedom Fighter characters from Earth X in Crisis on Infinite Earths. DC basically owns her. She's one of the characters that like hangs out with like Uncle Sam and Dollman and the Human Bomb, and like DC has been using those characters for ages.
Huh.
I mean,
I have no
she's
idea.
probably
I
in the
had no
public.
idea that
Part
was.
of her, she's probably got her stories are like in the public domain, but DC still uses her fairly regularly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh. What's her powers?
Well, she's intangible like Kitty Pryde and.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Hence Phantom.
Phases through things.
Yeah, I believe those are her powers. Now that I'm thinking about it, those might be her modern powers. In the past, she may not have had any. I may need to do more research on that.
So you got the other kind of the guy with the star in his head. That's Captain Freedom. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
Okay. Between Eric there and Ricochet.
Yep. Silver Streak is underneath Daredevil's leg,
right?
Which is fun. Eric uses him a lot. He's used him at least a few times in the book.
Yeah,
he's got no.
He seems to come across as like Super Patriot second in command.
Yeah, Eric seems to like the character. I think wasn't he in his next issue?
Yeah, Silver Streak was one of the next issue project issues.
Yeah.
So
although he's got no silver in his costume, he's Silver Streak. But
yep.
And then I think that covers them all.
Yeah, all the ones that show up, I think so as well.
That's it. Let's see.
Yeah, which I was wondering if they were going to show up and Eric was just going to wipe them all out, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't become cannon fodder.
Right.
And they're going to last a little bit.
Yeah.
But I thought they were just set up to be torn apart. It seemed like a.
Oh, it's early days.
I guess that does cover everybody because we have everybody on the last 2-page spread.
Yeah, I mean the rest of the SOS. The rest of the SOS there is Daredevil. There's Angel, which I'm not sure if she goes by Battle-Girl now or what. Barbaric, Rock, Widow, Super Patriot, Ricochet, Horridus, and Rex Dexter. So that looks like that's our new SOS crew for now.
Cool.
It's a pretty good lineup.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I guess in this story, Malcolm at this point was down in this fire pit for a couple hours, according to the text, and now the SOS come in to bail him out. And I thought it was pretty interesting if you're reading it, it's like the SOS, they know they're way overnumbered because it's like through the whole battle, they're like, this Rex is like, he's clear, let's get out of here. I think Ricochet is like, okay, let's get out of here. They know if they stay down there too long, they're going to get destroyed. And I think Eric does a good job kind of conveying that, especially with this twice up, you can just draw a million different demons and they all look different, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. What did you guys think of page 9?
What's on that one?
That one's Malcolm punching the guy holding Maxine.
Oh, the cover?
No, not.
Yeah, I thought that was neat. Well, it's like the cover, right?
Well, it is like the cover, but what I'm getting at though is it is the most golden age double page spread I've ever seen. Everyone is smiling, having a good time, beating up the monsters.
Yeah, even Malcolm was kind of a little smirk right there.
Well, I think what happened was that the panel before they just knocked out the big leader guy, so I think the momentum, the momentum has changed. So they're in if you look, they're all the demons are kind of running freaked out back into their hole. So good times.
Yep.
I thought Eric did a hell of a job on just drawing the little different demon faces. There was that one splash where Maxine jumps on the scene and all those, the one where the big demon is throwing Malcolm in his mouth.
Yep, that's page 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, all the faces of the demons, especially the one that's like right next to Angel's legs. He's got the big fish
face. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's this one here with a his eyes are covered by this hat. On the left. It's kind of
good stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And I got a kick out of the whole issue. It's just Super Patriot is just shooting holes through chest cavities.
Well, that's
pretty
what
much.
he does.
Right.
It's his job.
Even like the first time we see him jumping in there, where he's being saved at the second 2-pager, we see the little blast effects on the shoulder of the main guy. What's it?
Yeah.
The big guy. What's he called?
I don't know. I don't think he's ever actually named.
I think
he's a domain of the
name
demonoids.
the great one. They say
the great
they
one.
say
That's it. The great
one.
one. Yeah. Just little splashes of explosion hitting his shoulder right there as he's holding Malcolm. Good stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Nice effects and coloring looks cool. Just a nice package.
I have to say there was one missed opportunity. The cover. I mean, it would have it would have bumped Vanguard off, but the cover probably should have been a wraparound cover.
Says you
like a double.
Yeah. So the cover. It was really bold, like 4-page gatefold.
Yeah. Eric tried to get me to do the back cover to kind of match his
like connected to
his
it.
front cover, like they were connected, and I said that's not gonna work.
That would have been cool to see.
How are you gonna do that?
Yeah, unfortunately, the solicitation was so far in advance. He probably didn't even know he was doing it until he was doing it.
Right. Until he decided. He was talking to me about it. He came out to Chicago. That's why Chicago's gotten better too.
Ah,
really?
Yeah, he came out like in the beginning of September. And I cruised him around, him and his wife and son, and we took a look at some of the landmarks of Chicago.
Saw the bean.
Pictures. They saw the bean. He was out here for like a week, just because he comes out to these places for like conventions and stuff. And he never really gets to take a look at the town. And he just made a point of it to come out to Chicago, take a look at Chicago, and he got a whole bunch of pictures. He went to the high school supposedly where Malcolm's going to be going. He took a bunch of pictures there. Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and then that's
it
why
only
Chicago,
took him how many years? 20-something years.
Yeah, that's kind of cool to me because one of the things that always kind of bugs me is that Chicago as a city in Savage Dragon has never felt like a specific city. It's always sort of felt like generic city.
Mm-hmm.
And these changes lately where things are starting to feel more and more like the real city. I like it quite a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm glad he's making the effort. It really shows.
Yeah, it's he took a lot of pictures, and well, I guess maybe one of these days we'll see the high school in there too.
Of course.
Yeah, that's cool.
Which he did. He did do a picture of that. I think he got that off of Google before he went to Chicago. And
gotcha.
Got a picture of I forgot what the name of the high school is. But
I like a good mix though. I mean, I once in a while, it's nice to see a landmark, but I don't mind if it's generic buildings. I mean, like Jack Kirby did it all the time with New York, and that doesn't bother me. But it is cool to see. I think we commented on the last Vanguard serial that you did, that first issue. Didn't they go by like Lincoln Park or something? Like they were.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
There was a couple of landmarks, and it was like, wow, that's kind of refreshing to see, every once in a while.
Oh, you mean that park where Mako became human again? That was based on a real place.
Wasn't that from
memory? Yeah. Because I'm from Chicago.
Right.
The Lakeview area of Chicago, Lincoln Park, and so yeah, I have got a little more feel for Chicago and stuff like that as far as trying to make it look like Chicago.
Right.
I used reference in that first Rock House Diner story back in 132.
Right.
Yeah.
And using the Shed Aquarium and a few other landmarks. Sears Tower, which Willis Tower now.
Of course.
Yep.
Big Willie. Yeah.
But, is that his nickname now?
I have no idea.
Should be.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking at this picture right now on issue number 198, where they're by the bean. It seems kind of like a strange place to be meeting, but
yeah, someone mentioned that, I think, on the forums or something. Yeah. But hey, we'll take the reference.
Yeah, it's just, yeah. And now he used this before he saw the actual bean, so he finally went out there, like I said, to Chicago, and went to go see the bean, and he was all through Chicago. He was walking through my old neighborhood without me. He's telling me, oh yeah, we're over here and over this. That's my old neighborhood from when I was a kid.
Oh really?
So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Was like his motivation part of it just to get some like photo reference and stuff
He
like
wanted to
that?
get he wanted to get a feel for Chicago, and and the way he was talking, it almost seemed like he wanted to move out there. But
well,
yeah.
Yeah.
I always wonder if you ever thought about moving Dragon to San Francisco.
Yeah.
That'd be a.
He'd be like Dirty Harry, right? Isn't Dirty Harry a private a cop in San Francisco?
Probably. I haven't seen Dirty Harry in years.
Yeah. I don't know. I think. Yeah, but he just, like I said, he came out here to get a feel for Chicago and wanted to be a little bit more authentic when he makes reference to Chicago and stuff like that. So I think it's paying off, especially now that he's working this twice up. I think he's being more conscious of it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, it becomes more obvious, I think, when you're putting so much more detail in your backgrounds.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he came to Chicago, were you working on the Vanguard serial at that time, or was this? Yeah. So did he come by and?
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, did he come by and check out your pages and talk to you guys like?
Oh no! I mean, I left my stuff at home. I met him there. Picked him up from his hotel. We went cruising around. I drove him everywhere. We went and got some ribs. So. That's
his thing, ribs. I think.
Yeah, he likes those ribs. But we were a little disappointed this time around. Like, we kind of something was different, Yeah. It's like when you brag about something, you make a big deal out of it, then all of a sudden it's kind of a letdown. It's like, yeah, okay, it wasn't what we remembered. But
what do you mean by that?
It was it was off. How you brag about your favorite food place and then.
Oh, the food was. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, the ribs. Gotcha. We were talking.
All right.
Yeah, so. But yeah, we're out here for a bit and did some things, so that was cool.
Cool.
It was cool seeing him again.
It's always cool to catch up, especially when
met his wife and his son. That was nice.
You guys live so far apart, so you never get a real chance unless it's a convention. Like you said, when you're here for a convention, you're on the floor 90% of the time, and then you're back on the plane back. Home.
Right. When I went to San Diego, we went to like restaurants and stuff like that. So we walked around San Diego. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, you went this past year, right?
Couple
years ago.
Yeah.
I think that was. I don't think we had talked since then, right?
No.
Yeah. How was that experience?
It was okay. I didn't have a table or a place to sit, so I was basically standing and walking around. And the thing was like so ridiculously huge.
Yeah,
I really didn't enjoy it that much.
Were you there as Erik's guest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows I couldn't stand it.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people, like, I've been hearing a lot of backlash past couple of years that it's just because it's been so overrun by the movie studios and stuff like that.
Oh, we're talking about Comic-Con?
Yeah.
I hear it's a zoo these days, and that it's almost entirely other media.
It's ridiculous. I mean, it's so humongously huge beyond reason. That doesn't seem like it needs to be that big.
Right.
Yeah, like you said, there's the gaming, the Hollywood, TV shows, whatever.
I think Erik said this past one that it might be his last one because he's like he can't compete with all the other big things going on that people are already spending their money on. Right. Like you said, the gaming and the movie stuff and whatever, that they don't have money to spend on the comics, and it's more worth his while to go to the more comic centric.
Yeah, something a little more, a little more personable and a little more laid back. Nothing so circus like.
Yeah, I tell you, he comes to the Baltimore one every once in a while, and I love to see him at the Baltimore one because it's just about comics. There's no wrestlers or D movie stars or anything. And you could sit there and talk with him and stand on the side and watch him work or whatever, and it's just really enjoyable as someone that's just pretty much a comic book fan and not a fan of all the other extra stuff.
Yeah, Erik's really personable with his fans and stuff too, so he's very reachable.
Right.
So
did you do any sketches while you were out there for anyone?
I had a few.
Yeah.
I was how Erik says, like, he feels like he's kind of pushed in the background to San Diego kind.
Yeah.
Imagine me now. I'm pushing.
Yeah, right.
In some kind of infinite zone somewhere. Where, well, who's this? So.
Yeah,
right.
If he's feeling like lonely in a big thing like that, then I'm nowhere to be seen as far as not even paid attention to. So, I mean, there's a few that recognize you. And, oh yeah, you're the turtle guy. I had an interview with the people from that put some kind of turtle book together.
Right.
The book, not the 30th anniversary thing. There was like another book celebrating 30 years of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
Right.
Well, let's talk. Go ahead. Sorry. Didn't mean to cut you off.
So like I had an interview with that, and was filmed or something. So I haven't seen the interview or anything, but that was done. So somebody knew I was there.
Let's talk about that 30th anniversary book. That was kind of a neat little surprise that seemed to come out of left field. I don't think anyone expected to see another little Gary Carlson, Frank Fosco yarn. And along with all, it seemed like the team from each kind of era of the Turtles.
Right.
How was that going back and revisiting that and actually seeing a story now in color, I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that was colored by Cortland Brugger too. One of our guys who does some coloring for us. Guy who did the Gronk colors for the book Gronk.
Yeah, you could tell it was a lot darker than like what you do in Vanguard.
Right.
And the Rockhouse Diner strip had like this dark palette to it.
Yeah, Erik actually colored that Rockhouse Diner story.
Oh,
no kidding. Oh.
Way back when. But
Cortland colored the latest Vanguard story, right? Or
the back cover.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. I thought I saw his name somewhere.
Welcome home, Vanguard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. 20 years later, was it that long ago?
Yes.
It's probably about that.
Yeah, 1999, 17, 18 years later, do the 30th anniversary thing. It's amazing how much time has gone by since we did it back in '96 till '99 to this 30th anniversary thing. Because when we started, it was only 11 years old.
Right. You're only like the second or third incarnation.
Yeah, volume
now we're
3.
on fourth, fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth.
Yeah, by the time I got to IDW, but to get all these guys together, do their own incarnation of how they did them.
Yeah, I got to say yours definitely stood out the most from the others. I could tell the Archie one had a lot of heart in it too, but I didn't have any familiarity with that one. But I was really let down by the Jim Lawson one. I love that era, but that story was just so nothing.
Not often you see his stuff in color too.
That's true.
So I liked the way it was colored.
I
was okay with what Jim did. But yeah, I can understand how you would.
I mean, yours tied into like stuff you were doing story wise, and
right.
That one,
right.
The cliffhanger that the series got left on from his period is just a bit of a sore spot with me.
Oh.
The Viacom sale really short circuited that.
Yeah. Yeah, we just kind of picked up where so many years later, them. I don't know if you're familiar with the volume 3 stuff from Image, but
definitely
that was chopped up, and issue number 1 winds up in this particular story.
Yeah, he like attached himself to a raccoon and
a raccoon host. Yeah, goofy thing. But just in time for Rocket Raccoon from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Very true.
Yeah, there you go.
How do you like the way we tied that in?
Was that something that Gary had like in the back of his head from when you guys originally did it and just didn't have time to play it out, or was that he just made that up?
I came up with the idea.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
cool.
This, the thing that was all chopped up, how we got the metal always coming back, and how it glommed down to Donnie, term the Cyberdon, which every fan loves. If they could stone us, they probably would. But
yeah, right.
But kind of like go back to that, this living metal and whatever symbiont,
right?
That glommed down to the raccoon. I mean, it did it to Donatello. Why not do it to
right?
Survival, whatever, and it gloms onto this. Years later, and all of a sudden we got this thing wandering the sewers, seeking revenge from issue 1 back in 1996.
As you do.
Yep. So
were you surprised when you were approached to do a story like this? Was it like
I was kind of
a pleasant little surprise?
I was always kind of in contact with these guys. We were always talking about a little bit of something.
Who contacted you? Was it
Bobby,
Kevin Eastman?
No. Well, Kevin Eastman did contact me a while ago before that.
Oh, yeah?
Wanting to do something, maybe doing like layouts or maybe even finishing up Volume 3.
Oh, wow. Is that still on the table or no?
I don't know. It kind of faded away.
It's probably up to Viacom and IDW these days.
Yeah.
What projects get greenlit?
Right.
They're going to focus on.
Right. And if there's a fan base or a following that would like to see that conclusion, then I guess they did it for G.I. Joe or some other stuff.
If they ever get to reprinting your stuff, maybe that's
why we're in contact too.
Right.
Because they're talking about reprinting this stuff, eventually getting around to it, depending on sales, how everything else does.
Right.
Maybe they'll get to the Volume 3. It's a
I would love to see it get like an omnibus treatment. I mean, you got the perfect number of issues that could be in an oversized hardcover.
Right.
That would be real neat.
Might be a bonus too, is if there was like maybe a 30-page conclusion.
Right.
Added to that. Maybe not something separate. I mean, if they wanted to sell it separate, that'd be one thing.
Right.
Yeah.
If they didn't, if it was part of the omnibus as a conclusion to that volume, get everybody back to normal.
Did you do or you help work on like a fan made type of conclusion or issue?
Yeah, I helped a little bit.
Yeah.
Some layouts and that's not the way Gary and I would go about doing it. I think Gary had some input too. So Andrew Modine, the guys you were talking about who put this together, kind of went from Gary's notes, and Andrew did his own thing with it, and then
Gotcha. But you'd like to do like a.
Yeah, I did the covers and Kevin Eastman inked the second cover. Have you seen that stuff?
I have not seen
I've not seen it. I think we should have by now, but we I don't think we back.
Yeah, it was like a limited print or something like that.
So it was in print.
Yeah.
Oh. No, I've not seen it.
No, no major. Like it's
right.
So you order through your Andrew Modine or.
I thought it was like an electronic.
Yeah, I
only
thought it was
or
like
something.
a free digital comic.
That too.
But it just shows how uninformed we are.
Yeah, there's that too, though.
Yeah.
But,
so we should probably talk about some Vanguard.
Well, who's that? Oh, is that what you guys are? Okay.
So yeah, Vanguard's been back for like 3 or 4 months or issues.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't be happier.
Oh yeah, it's good stuff. I mean, it's the space adventure we were all hoping for.
Cool.
I was anyway.
Right. Yeah. No.
You kind of saw we left it open at when they were kind of sailing away in when we did the 12 issue.
Right.
Back
the original
when.
serial.
Yeah, a couple years. How long ago was that? Was that about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, that's
probably
when we were talking to you. I think we were talking to you right at its conclusion.
Yeah, we were close to it anyway. We were somewhere around there.
And that was a great
send off
serial. Yeah, well, honestly, I mean, I thought even some of those issues, I liked the backup better than the main story, and yeah,
because that was during the invasion arc, and that had some issues.
No,
I just a bit better too.
Yeah, but
so
I just
that. Yeah.
That Vanguard story, just it was just a really good yarn. It was really well done. Like it was just super enjoyable, and it was probably my favorite backup of all the backups that we've had through the years.
Well, the way it tied back into Savage Dragon, like the two were like really kind of like two halves of the same whole at the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And Vanguard's one of the strongest characters, supporting characters in Savage Dragon, so it's always a treat to see him.
Definitely top 3 or 5. Supporting characters like up there with Super Patriot.
Right.
It's like probably one of the most important characters to come out of all this.
Right. And to see a Vanguard supporting cast kind of grow and to get to meet and know them better, guys like Amok, who's was a villain to start off with, and now is kind of a good guy, and Modem, and your character Galeon. It's just pretty cool, and it leads us to this. They sail away looking for Vanguards, going back to the home planet, and the way this serial is opened up is pretty cool. So
I appreciate it. Yeah,
really enjoyed it.
Yeah, we're having fun with it. We knew we would eventually come back to it because we always knew we were going to try to get up to bring it back in 200, but deciding to go like a couple issues ahead of it, then leading into 200 to where we'll conclude it in 200. It's going to be 18. It'll be 18 pages in 200.
Oh,
no kidding!
Oh, so
awesome.
next issue is the last.
Yep.
Oh,
so I sent you, and I know I sent you the preview that
200 cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks wild.
That's the wrap up, baby. Well, I won't say too much, but
yeah.
So basically, 200 is like, I mean, I think all your backups have been about 6 pages, so it's about
3.
right.
a triple.
So it's 3
triple
issues
size.
worth.
Yeah.
Yep. So if I drop the ball and it's getting the 18 pages done, we can split into 3s. So I'll be done in 202. I'm actually working on next 6. I got the first 6 pages done. I get into the next 6 pages. The first 6 are off to the colorist, and
nice.
I got to get it in gear. Otherwise, it will be 6 or 12 pages, and we will conclude in 201 or 202.
Are you inking them all as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you've been doing it so far on these.
Yeah.
And I noticed the Vanguard logo is back on the back cover.
You know what? We wanted it on that one cover, but Amok was kind of like being in a way there. I kind of drew it too big, but I had the impression
on 198.
I kind of wanted the logo to go over the top of Amok and to where we just saw his mouth, and we got his logo on his chest.
His logo, yeah.
Yeah, it's like the merit to me if the logo blacked him out a little bit, cropped him out, and the focus is supposed to be the Vanguard and the Baracus looking at each other.
Right.
Baracus.
And then we got the mouth of the drooling mouth of Amok, like, you guys, you're upset, you're getting me riled up here,
Yeah, right.
I'm gonna get ready to bonk your heads together like Three Stooges or something. But I was thinking the logo would block them out a little bit, but then they tried putting the logo behind them, and they said, "No, just leave the logo off."
Right.
So it was always meant to be a logo on there, but we left it off that one. So
Gotcha. Well, 198 was cool. My favorite part of 198, I know we're on 199 now, but since we didn't get to talk to you about 198, was that you kind of did almost kind of like a double page splash in a way.
Yeah.
With all the what do you call them? The Calyptian, or is that how you?
This ragtag team that's been put together through their sales, through their
What I enjoy about it is that you didn't kind of go the route of giving them all the same uniform or same look. They all got these little different traits that kind of make them stick out, which is really cool. I like how they all have different symbols, and I kind of imagine that to be like their different families or I don't know, like armadas or something.
Right, their rank or whatever. Like, Star Trek Next Generation are different color uniforms. The higher ranking ones would be one color, and then the soldiers would be another color, and stuff like that.
They all have a different kind of weird, like, facial hair. It's really like pointy. It's not quite hair. I don't know what it is.
Right. Some kind of membrane or something.
Yeah.
Some kind of growth. Yeah.
Some have
we even got females in there. We got part cyborg.
Yeah. It is a really nice touch. And actually, I was really surprised to see, that there were actually survivors, which is cool too.
Yeah, we figured, with them sailing back to Calyptus, that they would pick up people on their way in the other armadas and more skull ships too. I mean, we got 5. They leave with 1 skull ship and they're coming with 5 or something.
Right.
So, plus a couple of their own ships, the 2 big Calyptian ships, whatever that may be.
Yeah. So, I mean, the way I guess Calyptus works is the actual planet itself is all polluted and just been destroyed from the civilization, and they all live in these floating cities.
Right. And
where all the dragon people, the Krylians or however you say it, they were actually on the actual planet, right? When they got wiped out.
Right.
And so it seems to me, and from what I remember from your character, Galian, is that you're going in the direction where he might be able to revive the planet or something like that. Because doesn't he have a connection with like the kind of Gaia, nature entities or something on planets?
Yeah.
Can you take us back through that? like what his deal is for like listeners that might have not read like Strange Visitors or your last serial with
Oh, put me on a spot, are you?
Yeah, no.
I remember all this stuff now.
Is your character?
Isn't he the original Etherian?
Yes, he is from man. We're going way back now. The original Etherian. There's like keepers of the thing called the powerhouse on the planet Ethra.
Yes.
And the keepers of the powerhouse, they control the powers, the planet's power and stuff like that through the powerhouse, and it kind of revives the planet.
Yeah, from what I understand, right? They like their staff or something helps. This powerhouse grows out of the ground and kind of it becomes theirs.
You're putting me on the spot here. I'm trying to think of it.
Sorry.
It's been a while since I've done all this stuff. But yeah, I mean, we saw Galian staff in the first of when those Vanguard Savage Dragon backups when the Etherian backup, the Etherian saga, the Watches of Pirate's Gorge, where what's the girl's name? Valerie. She pulls that vine off the powerhouse, Earth's powerhouse that they were rejuvenating in the desert there.
Yep.
She gives him like this withered piece of wood, and the next time we see Galen in the Vanguard backups the first time around, back in 170 whatever it was, Savage Dragon.
It was almost like a crystal. He was crazy.
Now, there's this crystal forming on top of the root of that staff now. Now in this particular series, it's the gem, the crystal is getting more formed and more finished looking.
Yeah.
So it's like even Galen's getting younger because he walked off as an old man.
Right.
And the next time we see him in like that Vanguard story, he's getting younger looking. He's rejuvenated. And now even in this particular series, the staff is more formed now. The Janus staff. It's called the Janus staff.
Yep. I remember that.
And NUS. It pulls the energies from the planet. He makes a mention like it's barren gas. This planet's pulse is very weak. We're talking about the issue 197 here. What those invaders did to his horrible Vanguard, it's bare and desolate. But you see his staff glowing, and so something's kind of triggering the staff a little bit. So, and we see in one issue. I'm kind of scatterbrained all over the place here.
It's okay.
I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
We see him in the newest issue, and he's like really rejuvenated looking, and his staff's glowing. And he's like, I hail you, Mother Calyptus. You have been ill-used, your resources exhausted, left to rot. And he offers all the corpses up to them, and I don't know if he can use that to
the planet, and they'll take the energies of the dead into the planet. And all this convoluted nonsense, but
well, it leads me to believe that there's going to be a powerhouse type structure coming up soon.
Which, if we ever did that if we ever came back to that was kind of like the thinking. I don't want to say too much, but we lost. What happened to Thram? Because we don't. Is that coming to your house? Whose house is that coming to?
Not mine.
That's mine, apparently.
Run for it, Jim.
Yeah.
But
Thram, the other Calyptian.
Because we don't. He's not even mentioned. He's not even seen. What happened to Thram? I mean, has he been? We don't. There's some backstory that we're not even telling. Has he been killed off? Do we even need to know that? They know that.
Right.
Does the reader necessarily need to know? Oh, there used to be a guy named Thram. It's not stuff that people always constantly talk about.
I think we're all.
Wait, was Thram the other guy who came along with
Baracus?
Yeah. I thought he died during the invasion.
No.
Oh, jeez.
No, he left with them, and
okay.
He was one of the guys that went with them, with Modem and Galian and Amok and Lurch and all them.
Right.
So you're intentionally leaving him out. So I'm assuming we're going to see him at some point.
What if a guy like Thram became like an Etherian?
Oh,
there you go.
That's an idea.
That'd be pretty cool.
I mean,
guess we'll see.
Just throwing that out there. Not that we'll ever do that, or if Erik might be like, "What? Get the."
Yeah, right.
That might be a total. You're nuts. Forget it.
Well, it seems like wherever there's like a Galian guy, there's almost like an Ethrian type guy, right?
But yeah, because Galian, who used to be an Ethrian, is not going to become a keeper. Like I don't know if I should even mention these characters from way back when. A keeper like a Valerie.
Right.
Yeah.
I should be, but there was before Valerie, there was a character called Amalek.
Right.
From the old Megaton stuff.
Right, and then I mean, if the listeners out there want more of a kind of a history lesson or learn more about Galian and Ethrian, there's Vanguard Strange Visitors one shot that came out in the 90s, which you could probably find at like Mile High Comics or somewhere like that. And then you had your backup. What issues was that in? Like 150s or something like that?
Had Ethereal Warriors too in the Vanguard.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, definitely.
Ethereal Warriors were kind of set up the.
That's what I meant. Not Strange Visitors. It was Ethereal. Well, although Ethrian was in Strange Visitors, right? Or no?
I don't think so. No.
All right, then it was just Ethereal Warrior.
Ethereal Warriors.
Really?
Yeah.
No, not. You're right. Yeah, Ethereal Warriors. That's right.
Ethereal Warriors. Yeah.
Which almost is like an Ethrian comic with Vanguard in it, in a way.
Which was what it was supposed to be.
Right.
Right.
But it was actually supposed to start off as a backup. There's like 2 8-page stories in there, and everything else is kind of like, I think we talked about this before.
Yeah, we did, but it's good for
everything was all kind of fitted in and fixed in there and added to and manipulated. And
so that's definitely a good book to look up, though, if you really want an understanding of how the Ethrian character and
if you really
Galian characters work.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, what was the name? I forgot. What was the name of the serial you had with Ethrian about 50 issues ago?
The Watches of Pirate Gorge.
Yeah, there you go. So that ran in Savage. Like
I'm trying to look it up, but unfortunately, Ethrian doesn't have a specific entry in the Savage Dragon wiki. So
what's the matter with them?
I know, right? It's like a glaring oversight.
It's probably because it's not a Larsen character.
Yeah, I think that.
I don't think he's never appeared in the pages of Savage Dragon itself.
It's like around 145 or something like that.
145.
Oh, it started back in blue.
Yep.
145.
Blue. Yep.
So what?
145 to 159.
There you go. So 149, 159, Ethrian.
Check your local libraries.
Yeah, 145 through 159. I'm looking at the one with Obama versus Osama.
Yeah.
That one. But, it was within 15 issues. I think Eric had bring up this sore spot. One backup in there with I replaced the Ethrian Saga with Image United.
Oh, yeah. So it skips on one of the...
It skipped in there somewhere. Or unless it was at... I think it was Image United.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Because I think it was like early Daredevil, Golden Age Daredevil with the dragon on the cover or something. Was that?
Okay.
I think was that? No, wait.
No, that was before.
That was the Free Comic Day.
Free Comic Book Day with Daredevil.
It's got nothing to do with that one. It was just the Free Comic Book Day, the free comic itself.
Right.
You purchase it, had the Ethrian backup in it, but if you got the free comic, didn't have the Ethrian backup in it.
Right.
That's what. Okay.
So there you go. I mean, the Ethrian backup from 145 to what'd you say, 159?
Yes.
159.
14 backups.
Right.
Yeah, that ran a while.
Yeah, it did.
And
kind of dragged down, didn't it?
Yeah. Well, at first I actually didn't like it because I wasn't really sure what I was looking at, and then later on I reread it and really appreciated it for what it was.
Yeah, we tried to set that up to where we didn't want to say anything in the beginning. Right.
It did kind of just show up, and it didn't really have a lot of context, and then
It's like we were one of the 5 people that were paying attention to the Ethereal Warriors to pick up on it.
Right. And of course, I hadn't read that at that time.
Right.
And so yeah.
Yeah, this is a Ethrian backup. What's going on? Yeah. So. Didn't quite.
It's neat though. I like it. I like how it's the character is kind of the Galian character and Ethrian character have kind of kept moving since, and and call back to that Etherian one shot. It was just fun to see something different.
Oh yeah, just all straight off from what we were talking about Vanguard to we jumped on the Galian and Etherian stuff. So
yeah, so we're just kind of saying how Galian's now on
right.
Calyptus kind of looks like he's screwing around with the planet and might bring it back to health or something. Who knows? I guess but that's from reading it. That's what I'm getting out of it, and I think that's kind of neat.
That's a good. That's how it's. Yep, you got it right. So that's what he's doing.
So this Vanguard. There's a lot of modem stuff in this particular installment.
Right.
She uses her powers to track Wally. She definitely seems to be really infatuated with Wally, which I really like about her character right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of an interesting asymmetrical relationship where, she's a superhuman and he's a robot. And They seem to get on pretty well.
Yeah, she's got some kind of connection with the
machines,
technology, and computers and stuff anyway, because her name's Modem.
Right. And
so some kind of connection there. So, but yeah, she is fascinated with Wally. I don't know if it's a good fascination, but it's kind of a bizarre fascination.
I found it interesting she gets turned back into her human self again. I recall in the last one, I believe either Vanguard did it to her intentionally trying to depower her, but it never seems to take. She always just seems to be able to repower himself.
Mm-hmm. I have no explanation.
No explanation. Okay.
It would just Gary writes in my drawing. No,
but it's a cool dynamic though.
It is.
She's not a very attractive woman in real life, and then she turns into this.
She's probably over Rose. I'm not going to stay as the Stacy Swan.
Yeah.
All names,
It's
like a reverse Ben Grimm.
Well, even her modem form is actually, she's really muscular. She's a really strong woman,
right?
Which is quite a bit different than your typical, comic book heroine.
Yeah,
body type.
Buxom, archback bimbo. So
yeah. So when you guys are writing the Vanguard strip, how do you guys use a Marvel method? Do you get a full script from Gary, or how does that work?
He sends me a full script, but then we bounce it back and forth, and I'll tell him, this isn't working right here. I mean, I got a lot of input. I put a lot of stuff in there. And, he's, that works. He likes what I do, and I got my own sensibilities, how I think a story can be told.
Right.
We work it out that way. If I feel like something's not working right, I'll go in there and tell, I'll rearrange what he's written and kind of move it around a little bit, and I'll add my own thing to it, and then we work it out. It usually comes out. It's a collaborative effort. So,
yeah.
I
mean, this whole thing with the at the end of the last page there, with Stacy doing the the Wally's supposedly a dead droid right there, and she kind of touches the ankle of the mech and sends a charge into the Wally to get the technicals wrapped around that guy's head and pop, crunch,
Yeah, that's cool.
Just her last bit of revenge on a mech there, but it's still a dead Wally. She's just using her modem abilities to trigger a reflex in Wally's tentacles there. Yeah. So that I contributed. That was my part I put in there.
Nice. And I mean, as the artist, I'm assuming that you're doing a lot of the character designs, because we do see a lot, like I mentioned, with the Vanguard, the Clifton army, and even the mechs and stuff. Is that something that you would draw a couple of designs and send over to Gary, or he's pretty much kind of cool with what you?
The mech design and even the Tyranian designs were originally kind of taken off from what Nikos did.
Gotcha. I mean that one backup.
And we kind of, we modify them and kind of do our own little twist to them. But those are mostly influenced by Nikos, what he did, and then, kind of do our own take.
Right.
So as far as the Clifton group of guys, that's all me. Gary doesn't say, "Hey, draw this guy this way." No, I do all that. He said about a dozen Cliftons floating in the air in front of van, and then that's what I come up with.
What's your typical schedule like when you're doing a backup? I know you have a full-time job, so
I got a real job.
Do you just when you come home, or you fit it an hour here, an hour there, or how do you
second
get this
hour
out?
here? I start my job. I work at a school for kids with special needs, behavioral problems and stuff like that. But it was from preschool to seniors in high school to kids transitioning from seniors in high school to adulthood. We can have kids up to 22 years old.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm mostly a driver, so I do a lot of driving back and forth. So I got, I'm thinking a lot. So, so I'm on the road constantly, which I love it. I'm fine with that. But I've been working there for like 14 years. But yeah, I work from there from like 7:30 till 3 o'clock. And there are times when I get up at night, or I'll go to bed purposely early, like 9 or 10 o'clock, and get up at 3 or 4 o'clock and get to drawing till I have to go to work.
Kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Then I'll go to work and I'll come home, do some more work before I go to bed. I don't apply myself as much as I should, only because I'm tired and I don't feel like I don't feel like messing with this right now.
Yeah, right.
I'm tired. My eyes
right.
I can't keep my eyes open. But I try to use every available time and moment that I have to try and get some work done. But I can procrastinate with the best of them.
Yeah.
I can whip out Eric needs this cover that I sent you guys for $200.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, I think we're gonna have to do we're gonna have to use a pinup for the back cover because the guys over at Image need the covers. I said, since when they need the back cover? Well, because it's a square bound book, they need the back cover.
A scoop.
Yeah, they need they need the back cover and the front cover for this, Yeah. So it's not for solicitation problems because it's already been solicited with the cover that for $200.
It must have to do with the printing somehow with the binding.
Right. They have to
pre-printed.
That's set right. They'll get it all together. So he's like, the way he's talking, I'm thinking like he needed this thing yesterday.
Right.
So okay, well, I guess you got to do what you got to do. And we started going back and forth. I said, do they have all the stuff that they need for this cover? Did you send them the pinup already? And he goes, no, he hasn't sent it yet. And he's telling me, well, they don't need it until November 3rd. I said, what? So that this was like Monday night or something. So I just drew it up real quick and I inked it up, and the next day it was done because I had it all drawn out, and then so they were good for it. So it's David Seltzer, who colored the original Vanguard stuff from the previous series, colored the back cover. And so
I guess for the listener out there, Frank emailed us a copy of the back cover of 200, the Vanguard cover, which looks pretty sweet.
It is.
Can we explain or describe what the cover is? Is that okay? Or I don't know when this is going to be released.
It's work in progress.
Maybe not post it, but at least describe what we're seeing.
You can describe it if you want.
Yeah. What I'm seeing, it looks pretty neat. It looks like a great back cover for a 200, and it's basically Vanguard. I don't know. I guess spoiler, block ears if you want to hear. It's holding Roxanne, and it looks like one of the floating cities exploding behind him. Which I don't know. It just looks like a really cool effect, and looks like a great cover to kind of end the series.
So yeah, thanks. So that's how we're. That's the last hurrah. And Calyptus actually is the city, so it's not the planet.
Yeah, right.
Each city has its own name. There's the Hall of Science and whatever the name of the other cities are.
So I always thought Calyptus was the planet, and the cities are just hovering over the planet.
Yeah. Well, when you get this, where are we at here? Page 1, which Eric thought should have been the cover for the back cover.
Really?
Broken Home.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see the planet in the background.
Yeah, right. There's the planet in the background. You've all been on the planet below, but these flying pseudos are the real Calyptus.
Ah, yes.
The city is Kronos, capital of the planet. The rest of the Grand Alliance, the free world of the universe.
Gotcha.
This is my city, my home. So, yeah, because everybody lived in the cities. They didn't live on the planet because of But like you said, the Krylons were trying to make a home of it. But which we got
that didn't work out.
No, yeah. Which we got that the Krylon ship on the horizon over there.
Yeah.
Now that's gotta be. We're thinking maybe forming that into something too. Maybe that would become Powerhouse or.
That'd be pretty wild. That's a huge ship.
Yeah. It's like a mountain range, So.
Right. Yeah, it almost does. I mean, it's become part of the background. It's so big.
Right.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, that's what's going on there.
Nice.
So very excited to the conclusion.
I'm glad you guys are liking it. It's
slightly disappointed that you guys are putting it on. 200 is a big, special, but I almost felt like I wanted a few more months of it.
You want us to break it in 3 more.
I'd rather you break it into 3 more parts. Keep me wanting to come back.
Oh, you come back for Dragon, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool though. I think hopefully 200 is going to be an issue that a lot of newer people try out or something, just because of the hype of a 200 issue. So, for them to get a larger dose of Vanguard and be exposed to Frank's work is kind of cool too. And
I don't know. It's funny. It's funny. Some of the cover solicitations that we've already seen coming off of, I think 201's out. Is 202 cover out?
I believe so.
Yeah. It almost feels like 200 isn't going to be a huge game changer story-wise. Because
I think you saw the game changer the issue before.
Right.
But because that's artistic of what Erik did. It's back to status quo as far as the regular book. If you're looking for 200 or 199 again, well, it's back to regular old Savage Dragon story, which still cool.
Yeah,
it's still twice.
Yeah,
stuff like that.
Well, I'm not saying that as a negative. I'm just an observation.
No, I know that. Yeah, I don't mean to make it sound like a negative either, because
some people would use their big centennial issues to kickstart a whole thing, but I think to Erik it's not just it's another issue, but it is just ultimately every issue should be special.
Yeah.
Well, and he just did it with 190. Was it 193? Is that one?
Yeah. And I think he did mention that 200 doesn't actually fall on a clean break in a trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he can't really use it as a break point for an arc or anything.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. The cover solicitation was him breaking out his
old man. No? Yeah, I think the Vicious Circle is going after Dragon.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Angel and
which is
Malcolm are there to the rescue or
something. Yeah. Like that. Well, they're back in town with this issue, so presumably
it might be a continuation of.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of pages he did, just black and white pages, but he's got a lot of work. He's got, we're talking about this. Had the deadline for this has been next Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, if they're looking to get the covers printed.
Yeah, not this coming Tuesday, but the 7th or what's that Monday?
Monday the 3rd, or the following?
The following week. The
8th.
Yeah.
No, that's December. The 10th.
10th.
So yeah,
it's not much time.
I'd be surprised if we make that deadline, because there's a whole lot to do.
Well, and he just posted on Facebook. He's right now inking a bunch of the Herb Trimpe pages that he got for that story, and I guess he already penciled Herb's pages.
Yeah,
because they're swapping. He's gonna ink Herb Trimpe's pages, and Herb Trimpe is gonna ink his, and it's two different stories.
Yeah.
Plus Eric's story. Plus, I don't know if he's doing anything else. Yeah.
Bunch of coloring plus what I got to do. I hate to be the one to put the book on hold, so I don't think that's going to happen because Erik will go without me.
Yeah.
And then maybe you guys will get your up to 202. But then I got a backup for 200. It wouldn't make sense for if it's only the 6 pages.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah. Then
so you're in a bind, man. You better hang up with us and get working.
I might have to. Yeah.
But yeah.
So
I mean, we've been talking close to an hour now.
Yeah.
So.
Who is it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I told you this is easy.
We could keep going. But yeah, we should probably try to wind down. We have to.
Okay, you guys got to do your stuff. I know you got to
add on to that. Yeah,
Right.
but let's try not to make it another 3 years, and maybe talk again after at some point discuss the conclusion of the Vanguard serial. And
Okay.
I
I appreciate
go from
this,
there.
guys. Well, thanks for having me on, and
We really appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy and you're trying to wrap
Yeah.
up your stuff. But
yeah,
it's
I'm gonna get off of here and procrastinate some more.
it's always fun to talk to you. We really enjoy your insight.
Yeah,
and,
this has been great.
All right.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, guys.
I appreciate
Thanks,
having you on.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Well, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's always a blast having Frank on. He's just fun to talk to.
You just go.
I love that Chicago accent.
It's just you can't fake it.
Yeah.
See,
Always a good time.
So yeah, I mean, exciting news about Vanguard concluding next issue, but issue 200 is going to be a big to-do as it is, so lots to look forward to. Since Raven's not here, I'm going to have to do my best Raven impression.
Wait, I gotta go get my popcorn. Hold on.
Okay.
All right, I'm ready.
All right. Next.
Clear throat.
Huh?
I said clear throat. Get ready.
All
right.
Mr. Bumnuts, proceed. All right. Savage Dragon. No, that's no good. That's not very Raven-like. Savage Dragon 200. Savage Dragon is out of prison, and the vicious circle is gunning for him. Malcolm Dragon and his stepsister Angel join forces to keep their father alive against an all-out assault in this movie-length epic. Backup stories include an Angel and Mr. Glum story drawn by Batman alum Chris Burnham, Malcolm and Savage Dragon in World War II by legendary Incredible Hulk artist Herb Trimpe, Special Operations Strike Force by Nikos Koutsis, Vanguard by Gary Carlson and Frank Fosco, and Malcolm Dragon by Travis Sengus. Gonna be a good issue, I imagine.
Nice. It was a good effort.
Yeah.
Not Raven.
I don't have the magic.
I don't think anyone could replicate Raven's
just
input.
the natural radio personality of this podcast.
But yeah, I can't believe that 200 is next.
It is.
It's pretty insane.
Oh, it is crazy. 110 issues for me. This has been a long, crazy ride.
It's gonna be tough to do a podcast on 200. We're gonna have to do a part 1 and part 2.
We might have to break it up.
And then I'm just thinking of, you're reading all these names in the solicitation description. These are all guys we're going to have on the site or on the podcast or something.
Yeah.
Somehow figure a way. But, yeah, so it's going to be fun.
It is.
Can't wait. It was a good episode. Again,
Very
Raven,
informative.
sorry you couldn't join us. If you're listening, hopefully you're not freaking out about anything.
Who?
Raven.
Oh, yeah. Freaking out about this podcast.
How boring it is without
Raven, like his quips and his clever innuendo.
Alrighty. Well, it was good chatting with you, Jim.
Good talking to you, Craig. And it's good having you all listening.
Yes. And send us some letters.
Like, comment.
Let us know what you want to hear. Yeah.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Cool. We'll see you guys in about a month.
See you in about
hopefully.
a month. Ha! More like middle of December. The Savage FINcast is a member of the Gutter Trash Podcast Network, which can be found at guttertrash.net. The Savage FINcast is part of the Comics Podcast Network, which can be found at comicspodcast.com. Also, find us on YouTube at youtube.com/user/SavageFINcast.